Alright, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I know I took a while to come back to streaming. I am sorry about that. A lot happened in between this stream and the last, so yeah, let's just hop right into it and see where this goes. Yes, please. Episode 2. The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band.
In a corner of that small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath. In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern's shutter, and the room slowly came into view. Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The Speckled Band. I believe this is the terrible coil to which she referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike. It truly was the most terrible speckled band I had ever seen.
Just ignore me. Alright, 9th of January, 6:37 AM on board the steamship Burya.
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me. The cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery. In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle. A Russian word. So the victim was a Russian man then. And the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. This is a most extraordinary script.
Hey Erica, how you doing?
By the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality. This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident, by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
Who are you, and what do you think you're doing here?
No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait.
Shh. That won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
What? Don't be absurd. This is murder. An cabin locked from inside.
Ah yes, the locked room. But that mystery is paper thin.
You don't mean the culprit is in there?
Who are you, and where have you come from?
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Sherlock Sholmes. I presume you must have heard of me.
Yeah, I'm doing alright as well. I just have a foot injury of some kind that just doesn't want to go away for the last week and a half or so. Almost 2 weeks now. And I know I just should go to the doctor and get it checked, but I don't wanna. There's so much I have to phone them and then ask, do I need a test to get to you? To go inside and well, get a checkup. And then I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to. I'm lazy as that. And I don't have to break bank to go to the doctor like Americans do, so it should actually be quite easy, but I don't wanna. And I have the time actually, I just don't want to. Oh well. If it doesn't go away in a few days, I'll go, but before then. My head is throbbing. Oh no! I hope you're feeling alright. And can leave quarantine soon. I actually managed to avoid it all those 2 years so far. Even though I'm working in a test station. I'm doing something right, I guess. Something's not right here. There's trouble in the air. Wait, I can't move. What the? Why am I in handcuffs? Huh, so you wake up now, huh? We had to drag you out of the wardrobe. I do not believe how you could not wake up. Thanks. It should get better soon, so... It's just annoying since it hurts every time I strain it too much, so... Pretty much every time I walk my dog, it's like, alright, it's starting to hurt, let's go home. So they don't get as much time outside as they should. But just enough. Do not believe how you could not wake up. You are a true cold-blooded man. You... You found me then. Da, we found you. And now you pay. Criminal. How long are you hiding in that tiny wardrobe, huh? Sorry. Now you have been found. It is time to admit your crimes. That's a terrible Russian accent. I'm sorry. I'm already bad at speaking English. Why should I even try to do an accent? I don't know. Okay, unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is, huh? No, I'll tell you everything. There's only one thing I'd like to know from you. Isn't that... Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Miss Susato? Wait, what did you just say? Take his life? Being accused of murder 2 times in a row, that's how this protagonist does it, I guess. Where is he? Where's Kazuma? Ha! You pretend you do not know? You are a wolf in sheep's belt. You are the killer! Do not try to make excuses. What? Kazuma-sama's body was discovered not long ago. Here, in this very cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. His body. Please, do not try to tell us where you were doing this terrible thing in your sleep. Kazuma's dead? But he can't be. And these handcuffs. Surely you don't think I... Oh? Okay. Sorry. I just got an information that apparently it started raining just now. But I hear nothing, so... Lies. I have to know, why did you take Kazuma-sama's life? Answer me, please. Oh, nice! Awesome. Gotta love the divide of covered patients and non-covered patients, I guess. In Germany, you need a test to even enter the hospital. So if you are an acute patient, you get access to the hospital, but before you get in any rooms or something like that, you get tested. So yeah. Oh well. Shit happens, but I hope your relative is also doing okay with both the heart attack and COVID as well. It was just 2 short weeks ago. Oh no, we won't get to see his headband moving in the wind. I'm gonna miss it. I'm going to miss your headband at least. Are you sure about this? Won't we get in trouble? Don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else can you come to England with me to study? It was really something else when they brought your luggage in here earlier, though. The way that Russian crewman just tossed your traveling case onto the floor. I thought I was going to die. Yes, I still can't believe that. I really didn't think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. You must be even less of a man than you look. Oi, Kazuma, what the hell? Hey, honestly, I thought I'd broken every bone in my body. Well, it's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. But if you confine yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you. I hope not. I get the feeling those Russians wouldn't be very forgiving of a stowaway. They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? From our faithful judicial assistant, Assistant Mikotoba, you mean? From your close friend, more to the point. Surely we could find her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away. No, but if she knew what we'd done, that would make her guilty by association. It's best that only you and I know about this. I suppose so. Anyway, it's about the time that the steward is supposed to come and clean the cabin. I know it's crumbed, but you'd better get in there, I think. It won't be for long. And anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'll be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'll be in for it. Stop worrying. I tell you what, why don't you write "keep out" or something on the piece of paper? What? Then I can stick it over the wardrobe doors once you're inside. I don't know. We've only been at sea for about 15 days. How can this have happened? We were supposed to be going on this adventure to England together. We leave you at next port. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble for yourself. Murderer. No, I'm not a murderer. Da! You said before, you said you admit everything about your crimes. No, that's not right. I mean, yes, I did stow away on the ship, but murdering your best friend? No one else could have done it. Admit to the truth. Susato-san. Please, tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. But there is something I would like to ask of you too. Ah, those eyes. She looks like she's ready to destroy me. This nightmare is getting worse by the minute. By the way, I do not believe that Kazuma can speak Russian. So why would his last words be in Russian? Somebody tell me. I suppose all I can do is try to find out what really happened. Kazuma's death. He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream. And these handcuffs, they think I did it? They think I'm Kazuma's killer? When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? There's no access to the cabin via a porthole window, and the bolt on the door can't be operated from outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped these four walls. What? Or to put it another way, the culprit can only have been somebody inside this cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? This is impossible. How did he die then? What happened exactly? Are you still going to deny the charges, even despite the circumstances? Please, Susato-san, you have to tell me. The cause of death is still undetermined. They don't know how he died? The ship's doctor is examining the body, but of course he has no post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose we shall learn more until an expert has been consulted at our next port of call. So presumably that means there were no obvious external signs of injury then? That's true, yes. Can't anyone tell me what actually happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want to kill Kazuma? Presumably, that's something you know the answer to better than anyone. Please. Whatever you say, you were here in the cabin after all. Well, yes, I was, but... He would always wake before dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. I was waiting outside his cabin as I have every day so far on this voyage. But this morning he did not come. I could sense that he wouldn't. Does that mean he was already dead when Susato-san arrived at his cabin door, I wonder? I knocked, but there was no reply. Then I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. The crewman forced the cabin door open, and when we managed to get inside... Ah, come on in, Jackson. Thank you. There was Kazuma-sama, collapsed on the floor. And the white tape there now shows exactly where he was found, I suppose. I had no idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. I wish it wasn't the case, but that's just very hard to believe. This is all very hard to believe for me too, trust me. Now, I've told you everything that I know. So, it's my turn to ask you a question. Yes, alright. My head feels so heavy. Still throbbing like anything. Stowaway last night. Let's continue. Why are you even on board this ship, Naruhodo-san? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, yes, I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I had no idea. But how could you have occupied Kazuma-sama's cabin for so long without him noticing? No, that would have been impossible, obviously. Yes, of course. Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. He actually asked you? But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Kazuma, why do you want this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to not... Oh, Jackson! Thank you. To smuggle me to England with you. Can you? It's an idea that's been on my mind ever since the end of the incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I, that you ought to become a lawyer yourself. Well, yes, you did say that, but I didn't think you were serious. You have a talent for it, I can assure you of that. But I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London is at the spearhead of cultural development, the center of the world in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there? Well, no, definitely not. But on a personal level. If you were to become a lawyer, then... Yes? Then what? Nothing. Forget it. You've got to talk to me, Kazuma. Kazuma-sama he was always saying the same thing. That he wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Wasn't it just recently established in the British way? Perhaps he thought that he could do that with you. Yes, maybe. But something's still bothering me a little. The look in his eyes, then. It was darker than I've ever seen it before. Susato-san, I'm sorry that we kept it secret from you. My stowing away on the ship, I mean. If I know Kazuma-sama, I expect he was trying to protect me, to avoid me becoming guilty by association. That's exactly right, yes. Word perfect, in fact. Last night. If you're not the culprit, then tell me, what happened last night here in this cabin? Well, the thing is, I don't really remember. Kazuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. And then I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I fell asleep. Oh, well, yes. So, deeply that you didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed? Well, yes. If there was no implication of forced death, like hit on the head or something like that, I don't think there was a struggle. So, even if he was asleep, I believe either there was something in the food or gas was used, because other than that, there's no way that someone got outside in time. And Kazuma probably locked the door himself. So yeah, I don't know, but if there was no struggle, I don't think he would wake up even if there were some sleeping pills. If there weren't sleeping pills in the food or something like that. I know, it sounds unbelievable, really, I do, but it's the truth. If only I'd woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. And for some reason, my head's still throbbing like anything. Really? Is something wrong? Oh, no, it's... Perhaps... please, forget it. Susato-san, you have to believe me, I didn't do it. I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there is no one else who could possibly have done this. Kazuma, I don't understand. Why? Why did this have to happen? I can't take this. Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry, but Kazuma was killed right under my nose here, and I didn't do anything to stop it. And now I'm supposed to just sit around, my hands tied, while whoever did this walks free. No, I can't allow that to happen. Well, what do you propose to do then? I'm going to investigate. I'm going to find out exactly what happened here. I'm going to work out who took Kazuma's life and how and why they did it. So, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me. Hiya! What the... That was a Susato takedown. A Susato... What? What martial art form is that? I'm going to need you to prove it. Sorry? Prove it? Yes, your innocence. I need evidence. But how am I supposed to... Have you forgotten already what you achieved just a few weeks ago? You successfully defended yourself in a court of law. Ah, I see. She's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I'll show her some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime.
Yes!
Tell me, when I was discovered in the wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the doors? Oh, yes, it was. I remember clearly. I thought so. Kazuma always put it in place whenever I went to sleep in there. Just in case the cabin steward or any other crew member decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well. Ah, yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe doors before he opened them. But if I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the doors on my own. Yes, that's quite true. In other words, it's impossible that I killed Kazuma. Nah. Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Kazuma-sama thought so highly of you. Thank you, Susato-san. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up? Well, in the light of that evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating in here, at least. Thank you, so you finally believe me? I'm sorry. No. What? I'm not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that you used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in place. Sure. What does she think I am, a magician? For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same. Alright, let's get to work, Susato-san. Please, don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh, I shall be watching you to make sure you do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you using your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example. Right. Well, anyway, I should make a start on investigating in here. Examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear, I will avenge your death. Okay. Do I have anything? No. B, look around. Ah, okay. B and M does. Ah, okay. B is this way, M is this way. Okay. This is where dear Kazuma-sama would have said whenever he was writing. London Diary. Poor Kazuma, he didn't even make it to his destination. It looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means... what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Hiya! That's out of the question. What? Kazuma-sama may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. Susato! But what if it's something important? Yes, yes! Something relevant to the case? Alright, I won't read it. Girl, you might have been in love with him, but seriously, I am trying to find the murderer. Maybe let me do my job. Poor Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. But in this case, isn't the need for clues more important? Yes. Okay. Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter, Susato-san? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused I forget to look around properly. Ah, yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you, Naruhodo-san? I'm sure you're careful to look all around using BM, aren't you? Now, let's investigate all corners of this cabin. Yes, let's do that. So, suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now. No, it hasn't. I moved my camera already. Thanks, Ryunosuke and Susato-san. Okay, what do we have here? Warning. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Borya. It's essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Okay. What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? I can't decide. Neither can I. Well, one thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. The books have fallen over on the shelf. Look, they're all toppled the same way. And what's this? A statue of some god of the sea? Although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked and everything mown down at once. I wonder if perhaps it was Kazuma-sama doing his morning sword training, do you think? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps it was you, Naruhodo-san, in a fit of rage. I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. True. Could the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder? Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. Don't... Oh, she's gone, so I can actually see stuff. What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glassware. Whatever the thing was, it appears to have broken clean in two. But there's only one half here. The glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little netsuke fastener from a kimono outfit. I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him, would he? Maybe it was for Susato-san. And the mark beside it, what is it, I wonder? It has a sort of brick-like hue. Yes, you're right. It is the color of brick, isn't it? Even though I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in the cabin. Oh, okay, so when I'm done with something, it actually shows it. Okay. That's Kazuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yes, he was always saying that a Japanese man's katana is his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on this trip. I suppose that shows just how important it was to him. And now he's gone, but I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet. Okay, what do we have here? That's my dinner from last night, a roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But did you eat it on the floor here? I'm not a dog, Susato-san. I ate at the table, of course. Which begs the question of when and how the blade ended up on the floor. Sure. But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right, so he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no, does that mean poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on this earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. Now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. So there was no poison in the food. Alright, good to know. There's nothing on this table at all. The blade and cutlery are all over the floor for some reason. Yes, strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still... No, wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. So then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama. No. Seigi, the Japanese word for justice. The brush strokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma. Yes, his calligraphy always was a reflection of his heart. Yet can you really look at those characters without feeling shame, knowing who drew them so thoughtfully? Of course I can! I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Even though you stowed away on the ship? Now you're going to bring that up, are you? I can't win. Perhaps I should see what this Russian crewman makes of the scene of the crime. Excuse me? What? I was wondering how it's going, the investigation, I mean. Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes, but it's not true, I see. Sorry? The criminal asking investigator for information about his crime? Very funny. Oh. It wasn't supposed to be a joke. He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He's convinced you're guilty. He might have useful information though. I have to keep trying. So, last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? Yet. Of course not. Now back to corner of room and make silent. I say no more to you. Ah, did I hit a nerve? Just for a minute there, he seemed a little flustered. Well, one of his comrades has strange marks on his face. When I went for help and the crewman forced the door open, this bolt had been firmly closed. Ah, it's quite a small bolt and not particularly sturdy, and it just slides across this to secure the door shut. God damn it. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. That's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel. The culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across from the outside the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself, but the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There would be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. Alright. Nothing here. We are done with that and with that. The body. Did Kazuma write that before he died? It looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. Then I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Oh, Kazuma-sama, no doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of clue in his final moments, was he? I'm sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing. I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhodo-san. What then? Then what language is it? It pains me to admit it, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? I am curious. Can we look at it again? And can I use... I just want to look at it. Yeah. Okay, let's stay on that real quick. Go on, lens. This one. Sorry. Translate. Load a bit faster, please. Okay. English. Russish. There we go. Probably. Wardrobe. Ah, okay. So the word means wardrobe. Interesting. No, sorry. Yeah, we can skip that. So whoever it was knew that someone was in the wardrobe. Now here we go. That's a very large traveling case, isn't it? Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. I was brought on board and saw inside that case. Ah yes, I see. It says this way up in Japanese. Which in hindsight I should have realized the foreign crewmen wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor in here. Oh dear, being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a Susato takedown. Okay, now we can look at this side of the room, I guess. Bed. It's 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruhodo-san? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh, no, I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting making this voyage in your own secret hideout. The trouble was I never knew when a member of the crew might come in, so yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. And last night was no exception. But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. Okay. This is... yes, it's a bell cord contraption, I think. What do you mean, contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell to summon servants. Really, that sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try? Yes. In the interest of cultural research, obviously. But nobody came. I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. No, I'm sure it's just that everyone is busy, that's all. Okay, now we have... I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. A hole through which fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to. You're right. But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, surely it should be connected to the outside. Oh, that's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough? Or something like that? I suppose. Maybe that's it. What? Where did he come from? Who's that? He wasn't here there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. Oh, how did he... You've noticed the man too, have you? I've no idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious and tall. Suspiciously tall. Naruto-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no. I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And is he investigating Kazuma's desk or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk to him. Am I just imagining it, or does Susato-san look almost uncontrollably excited? By the way, I expect that you noticed already, but just in case. If you press space on people when they're in the crosshairs, you can converse with them. Alright then, I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sight and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. Examine. Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh, this is a critical point in my investigation. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Greetings! I hope I haven't kept you. Ah. He sure does. What exactly were you doing on Kazuma's desk just now? Creepy goggles? Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry? What do you mean? What do you see? Feels like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear now. Well, who knows? Maybe he was... Is that a saying in English? From the different show? In German, you can say er ist vom anderen Ufer, which literally translates to he is from the other shore. Being a term for being gay. Probably not a thing in English, but still. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. What? Sorry? What? And now, whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Oh, well, that's true at least. But how? How the deuce did I know that? Perhaps? Sure. As long as nobody's hurt, it's fine. It was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. I think she meant how could one be so wrong? Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madame. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being, as you are, a merciless revolution. Wow! I know he's just Sherlock Holmes and not Sherlock Holmes, but holy fuck! How could one? How can you mess this up so badly? You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake, and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the beribboned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. Yep, for sure. Just to be clear, you're talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name. I don't even see 1% of... I'm sorry. I don't even see one person who fits the bill. True that. Well, maybe the cabin crew. So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. How? Susato-san, how? How can you come to that conclusion as well? Come on. What? And you're plotting a revolution too? It's a shameful behavior, Naruto-san. Absolutely wicked. No, listen the way what was that? The killer move of Susato-san? Explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary. Obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing towards foreign claims, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament, do you not? Well, yes, maybe. Ha! There you have it, you see? What do you make of that, huh? Well, to be honest, the ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So, I'm not really sure you could call it deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles, you see. I announce my findings with a precise certitude. And more often than not, I'm right. Ah. I don't think you introduced yourself. Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. The inimitable, what the fuck is that word? Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes. So, it's really you? The actual Sherlock Holmes? The very same. The inimitable actual Sherlock Holmes. Do you know this man, Susan? The most famous detective in the world? Naruto-san, of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on then? We must ask him what he's deduced. We already heard what he has deduced. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? Do I want to? Great detective. So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I am none other than the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Oh, I see, you're German? Sherlock, was it? No, I have no hair. I mean, I have hair. Please, call me Holmes. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh yes, Run's magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interesting articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Ah, yes. Here it is. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So, you're the protagonist in a series of short stories then? Indeed I am. And you've read so many of your own stories, you've started to think you really are a detective? Make no mistake, I'm not a poor, deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward? My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. Dr. Wilson. I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, this very moment I am returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really? I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Just don't. Deduction, you see, is to me a science. Logical reasoning in its purest form. A science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subjects. A furtive? Use words I know, please. Furtive glance, a twitch of a muscle, a slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin, all these things are data. Right. And the trained logician, that's a word apparently, makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. How can you look me in the eye and claim that? So, you see, I have a turn both for observation and for deduction and fame. That is what makes me the one and only Herlock Sholmes. Okay. He is something, I guess. Cosmo's death. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything? My dear fellow! Who, do you suppose, discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right! It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Ah, I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. When I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning, I summoned all of the crew members to force the cabin door open. I thought it was just one? And I concealed myself among the numbers, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective Herlock Sholmes was on board. Am I getting on your nerves yet? And the handcuffs seemed to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. Ah! The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, two facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh, really? Two facts, you say? Two facts. Mr. Sholmes, tell us, please, what two facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah, yes, but first, let us be precise. The two facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand. But what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The two facts that I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number one, the cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of question. Number two, the victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Sholmes, what made you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. That is the Russian word for wardrobe. Do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? In their final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head. For this young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian, was he? Initially, I considered garderobe may be the name of the killer, a certain Robert Guard. Perhaps. Sure. Let's mix some German in there as well. Why don't we? But in the interest of the thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe. There, at least. Where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Quite so. I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. I should rename this episode The Russian Revolutionary Killer, with 14 victims. No, 15 now. Why is it that I am Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. Our school uniforms are the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim and the message that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. Thank you. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. Oh. So his headband was linked to his life force? It wasn't moving at all. I just remembered. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, thank you. Photograph of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. Crime scene photograph, the Russian word for wardrobe in purple ink. It would appear to have been written in the victim's final moments. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes? What, pray? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all of that? Ah yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? Wait, what? What now? Certainly, if it interests you. Oh, many times. I'm not Russian and I don't speak Russian. Your deduction just now. Can we talk about your deduction before? The thing you concluded about me, I mean. The now famously accurate trouble predicament you find yourself in. Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part? Oh, 16? Oh, did I miss a few? Oh, too bad. Ah, yes. The more sordid details. It was a fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning paper. The main headline reads... Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. This vessel made a port call at Shanghai yesterday, and that night the young Russian was murdered. Does that make sense? Wouldn't I be traveling in the other way? World map. Shut up, I need a world map. World map. Map. Okay, so Japan, be here. Oh yeah, I thought of the United States and not England. Oh right. Then I guess it would make sense, but is a long ways away. Sorry, I'm not showing it, but you'll get it. Since when was Kazuma a Russian? Sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded he was Russian because of what Kazuma-sama wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. One who would kill the very man who helped him to escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you, villain Bolshevik. No, no, no. How could it be me? I don't look anything like this man. Just look at his face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learned to revolutionize your appearance as well. Please. And I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of the assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower? Ah, yes. The journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particulars in the article. If the revolutionary fled the country, how did a journalist have the possibility of interviewing the man? Especially in Russia. They would for sure sell him out to the officials and not print about an interview. Sholmes, my dear. I don't know what you have in your pipe there, but I don't think it's doing you any good. He has seen a lot. And I think he's taken a lot that shouldn't be in his system. The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far and those he is plotting. Oh. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interview with newspaper reporters, I wonder? And what about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite clearly stated here in the article. Bolshevik has recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. A lead. Yeah. Where even is it anyway? This Afghanistan place. Here. Take the paper for yourself as a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you? I've absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. The article about the revolutionary has been entered into the court records. And you may find the article on the back page of interest as well. On the back, cast your eyes over it sometime if the interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. But I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. Can I? Oh, I can. Perfect. Let me do that. How did I do that again? Oh yeah. Princess of some kind. Oh, this is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruhodo-san? Well, no. I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. Neither can I. Something 20. No, nor can I. But look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think? She is very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know. I can't make any sense of it. Ah, I'm glad you've noticed this article. Ah! Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Dude, you should notice something here. They can't read it, which would maybe lead you to deduce that they are not Russian, because Russia... in Russia you speak Russian and probably can read it, okay? There are probably some that are illiterate, okay, but still. If you're a revolutionary, you should probably be literate, but okay. Oh, thank you. It pops up everywhere, this Mr. Sholmes. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Navovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. I think... I'm not sure, I've never read those stories, but I think Sherlock Holmes is supposed to be a drug addict. But I could be wrong. Let me Google that. I know that he's presented as such in recent films and drugs book. Wow. Books. The Addictions of Sherlock Holmes. Let's see. It's elementary. The Addictions of Sherlock Holmes. One might ask, why write about the addictions of a fictional characters? The answer is that there is often a fine line between reality and fiction. Recently quoted a survey that found 20% of British teenagers thought that Winston Churchill was a fictional character, but 58% thought that Sherlock Holmes was real. Wow. Okay. The cocaine. Okay. Yeah. Apparently, he was a cocaine addict. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? Alcohol, I'm not sure, but I thought drugs as well. Maybe both. Probably both, let's be real here. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? It would appear the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room. Wearing the diamond tiara, you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles. 20,000 rubles? Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure. It must be an unbelievable sum of money. Susoto-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is the property of the Novovich Ballet. It would seem the director is beside herself with worry. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They've requested international assistance at all ports with sailings to Great Britain. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? It does seem to be the Russian thing to do. True, to be honest. I haven't read a whole lot in the last couple months. I feel bad about that, actually. I have some series I read on Teppas and Tepitoon, and I'm so far behind. Oh my god. But they keep adding more series and I'm like, alright, I want to read this series too. And then I'm like, okay. But I can't find the time to read anything. It does seem to be the Russian thing to do. Yeah, apparently so. I'm not even going to dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruhodo. The article about the ballerina has been entered into the court records. Article about ballerina. An article on the back page of a Russian newspaper. The headline reads, "Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappeared from Shanghai." Alright, anything else of interest? No. Let's turn that around again. Do I get an explanation for that as well? I'm afraid I can't read a word of Russian. Yes, no, neither can I. The pair of you floundering is a sorry sight. Allow me to offer some assistance. The article on the front page of this newspaper is concerned with a fearsome Russian revolutionary. It reads, "Revolutionary Vilen Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai." Yes, you told us that before. It reveals also that those who see the man's beard with their own eyes never live to tell the tale. Oh my goodness, he is fearsome. Well, presumably the newspaper photographer was alright, wasn't he? True. The solution is obvious, of course. If he despises his beard to that degree, he need only shave it off. I don't think it's because he despises his beard. I'm not quite sure that's the problem, Mr. Sholmes. Neither do I. Okay, anything else? Nope. Okay, thanks. What else do we have? That's that. Do we have anything here of interest? Nope. Okay. Can't turn it around either. Anything here? Adhesive? Ah, these must be remnants of the glue you used to stick the paper seal on the wardrobe. That's right, it was pulverized rice. Pulverized rice? Yes, I pulverized some rice. Some of the rice from my evening meal, even though it broke my heart. Broke your heart? What do you mean? Remember, I'm a stowaway on this ship. All I had to eat were Kazuma's leftovers. Even a couple of grains of rice could have meant the difference between life and death. Oh my, it must have been awful for you, Naruhodo-san. But I have some glue with me, as it happens. You're welcome to use it this evening. Oh, thank you very much. Whee. Nice. You drew the characters for this paper seal, didn't you, Naruhodo-san? They're such bold, vivid strokes you made. You're looking at a man who came aboard inside a trunk. Those brush strokes needed to make a statement. If they'd found me in that wardrobe, those Russians would have hurled me into the freezing cold ocean. I'm sure none of the crewmen would have done anything like that. Oh, well, I'm not so sure. They would have forced you to wash dishes in the galley until you were on death's door or something like that. Wash dishes until I was on death's door. That's a lot of dishes. Akaruna? What I don't get is why they used kana. Okay. Katakana, yeah. And not hiragana or kanji, but okay. Sorry, I'm currently learning Japanese, so... What you were just investigating. Before we started talking, you were examining Kazuma's desk, weren't you? Kazuma? Ah, yes, the victim. Hint, hint, he's not Russian. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text. London diary. Kazuma was keeping notes of the trip. Ah, but I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. Tragic. And something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you've read it already? It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what a Susato takedown is. Susatos? And you're going to throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. Anyway, to return to the matter at hand, namely this diary belonging to the victim. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray be precise as to details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. A smattering, dear boy, a smattering. Sayonara, bonsai, mikado, nado nado. I trust you're suitably impressed. No. But this diary is littered with complicated looking characters of which I can read precisely none. So what was all that showing off about before then? He loves showing off. Shouldn't we have realized that by now? Ryonosuke Naruhodo-san. It would, if you would be so kind as to show me, I would be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. Susato-san? I'm much obliged, my dear madame. The final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just 2 short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. A whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray, go on. The second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I have never heard that expression before. Isn't it the bell? Ah, the ventilator grill, you say. That man was presumably referring to the letters there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. Kazuma's diary has been entered into the court record. So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being, at least. Ah, do you have somewhere to go? As it happens, the victim's writing in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe, and if I am still too long, the seasickness takes hold. Oh, I suppose. You're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to? Right, detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exaltation. So yes, I intend to investigate. Hence, the truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? Oh, no. That would be somewhat complicated. What? Why? A simple glance at your wrists should reveal the answer. Oh, these. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter, no? There's no point trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided was the culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. You must be joking! You just said it only a moment ago! Dear me, you are clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. ADHD drugged Holmes. Please calm down. Get sober. And then we can talk about it. It's getting a bit annoying. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know? No, really. So what? Were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. Well, anyway, that was then and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. No, he's just being plain rude. Sure. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His his sense of humor is as twisted as his name. Naruhodo-san, what are you just standing here for? Huh? You must go and investigate the cabin next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? Oi! After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you're willing to give up? You're just going to roll over and accept your fate? As if you gave me any choice in the rolling over part. I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Good idea. What didn't I check already? The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things I can do to help myself. And I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this and bring the real culprit to justice. Is that something wrong, Naruhodo-san? Oh, no, it's just that crewman standing by the door. Can't help feeling like I've seen him somewhere before. Oh, yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir? Yes, what can I do for you? Isn't that the inspector? I recognize that face, but it can't be. Ah, yes, it is. It is! I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaga. And still smearing his blood all over. Hello again. What are you doing here? I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you, my heart stopped. Nearly stopped, I hope. I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew and board the ship. Again? You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. I never expected to see this man on board, but perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. Converse, special orders. I don't think he's gonna tell us. So, what are your special orders this time, Inspector? Yes, and why are you dressed as a member of the crew? I'm so sorry. Huh? This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? My orders were to act as Asogi-san's bodyguard. It was Minister of Justice Jigoku, okay, who pushed for this overseas study tour to go ahead. And he entrusted me with ensuring that Asogi-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated. Well, that didn't work out, did it? Assassinated? How could that even have been a possibility? What had happened? I'm not sure. But these are complicated times. There are tensions between the world's greatest powers. Minister Jigoku said we should be prepared for all eventualities. This is incredible. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama was assassinated? Obviously, we couldn't give Asogi-san a visible security escort. Which is why I'm undercover now, posing as one of the crew. I see. And I didn't take my eyes off him the entire time we've been on board, from morning until night, every day. But I never imagined it would happen here, inside his own cabin. Not here, in the first-class deck. I failed miserably at my assignment, and Asogi-san is dead as I thought. I'm a disgrace. All I can do is humbly apologize. Inspector. So, if there's anything at all that I can do to help now, say the word. Permission to investigate. We're doing what we can to investigate Kazuma's death ourselves. I thought you might be. You didn't do it, did you? You're not the killer. Of course not. We'd really like to investigate the cabin next door. Yes, so we need to be allowed out of this cabin. I'm sorry. What? You've been deemed a risk to the ship's safety. If you move to even touch the handle of the cabin door, That stormy-looking seaman there would surely snap your neck in two. I suppose I'm not just a stowaway now. They think I'm a murderer as well. Would it be possible to give me something to work with, do you think? I'm going to need something persuasive. What do you mean? If I had a solid reason why the next door cabin should be investigated, for example, I'd do everything I could to persuade the captain to allow it. Really, I'd lay my life on the line if I had to. But I don't see how... There may be a way. What? Really? Think of how you tried to persuade me of your innocence, Naruhodo-san, by presenting me with a piece of evidence that you already had in your possession. Evidence. It's just the same as when you are in court. You must have done it many times during your trial. Simply select the present panel. Choose some evidence that Inspector Osanagi could use. So, evidence that would give us a viable reason to investigate the next door cabin, is it? Alright, yes, I think I might know what we can use. Let's see if I can present the detective with the evidence he needs to persuade the captain. Board records. Present? No. Ah, do I have to go back? Present. Board records. The diary. What's that? It's Kazuma's diary. Just before he died, Kazuma-sama wrote something rather strange in his diary. Strange? In what way? He wrote, "What looks like some kind of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill." A speckled band? That is strange. Yes, we're still trying to work out what he meant by that, but what I'd like to know is... Don't tell me. The ventilator, is it? You're very astute, Inspector. That ventilator clearly joins to the next door cabin. That's right. So if we could investigate in there, we might be able to work out what the speckled band was. Alright then. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. The cabin has given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime, you see. I'll have to entrust the investigation to you. Really? You're willing to do that? Yes. As long as you don't leave the first-class cabin area, I'm afraid I can't remove those handcuffs, though. But what about the captain? Aren't you going against his direct orders? I'm a man of my word. And I promise you that I'll lay my life on the line if that's what it takes to convince the captain. After all, I failed to keep Asogi-san safe. This is the least I can do. Thank you. Let's seize the moment then, Naruhodo-san. Just select move and we can leave this cabin at last. Move. Alright, let's see what we can find out. Move! First class passageway. 9th of January, 7:48 AM, SS Boreas, first class cabin passageway. Phew, I'm finally out of that cabin. I have to admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. It's less spacious out here than I thought it would be, and this is the most luxurious accommodation. Yes, indeed. Kazuma-sama was being sent on this study tour by the government. That's why he was being put up in a first-class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodation in steerage, okay. Really? That must be awful. Oh, look over there. That's another crewman watching, keeping watch. And he looks enormous even if he's sitting down. The door next to him leads to the second-class accommodation. I suppose he's making sure that no one comes in here who shouldn't. I suppose? Like people in handcuffs? Naruhodo-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy shop for the first time. I would have thought you'd be used to the ship by now. We've been at sea for 2 weeks already. Well, yes, I know, but the thing is, I was inside Kazuma's trunk when I first came aboard. And ever since then, I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe. It must have been a very trying time for you. Please, don't give me that pitying look. If this guy was out here the whole time during the incident, he must have seen someone enter and leave the cabin. No? That's a huge book on top of the table there, and there's a pen next to it. Yes, that looks like the ship's log. Shall we have a little look through it? The writing is so neat and precise. Every detail about the voyage has been meticulously recorded. Oh, you wouldn't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such a beautiful handwriting. And nothing. No reaction at all. I thought he might appreciate the compliment. I'm not sure that rough and ready is much of a compliment, Naruhodo-san, even to a sailor. Anyway, last night's log is mostly blank. Presumably that means there was nothing to report. Shouldn't there be nothing to report in the record, though? Still? As far as I know, they still have to report whatever happened in between. Oh, one of the lamps is not working. This looks like a plan of the SS Buria. It shows each deck. Look. The Buria is a large-scale steamship with a triple-skinned hull. What a marvel of engineering. Well, it's been playing on my mind for a while now, actually, but how is it that such a huge lump of metal doesn't just sink to the bottom of the ocean? Oh, that's really quite simple, Naruhodo-san. It is? Well, consider the Japanese archipelago. I hate that word. The islands of Japan? Yes, they're not metal, but they are enormous lumps of earth, many, many times larger than the ship. And they don't sink, do they? They've been floating happily on the sea since the gods created them. Well, I suppose so. It's not registered as a hint. That's the way to the second-class area of the ship. Is something wrong? I was thinking about making a run for it, just for a moment. Things aren't exactly going well for me. I might be wrong, but I imagine the moment you reach for the handle of the door, that burly seaman would surely shoot you dead. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Perhaps I went a little too far there. No, I started it with my talk of running away, and there's no way I could run away while Kazuma's death remains a mystery anyway. And it will still be a mystery in the future if you run away and leave it to Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Excuse me, but could I ask you something? You little stowaway murderer. What happened to your face? Pray tell. It wasn't a good start, was it? Alright, let me try instead. Good day, Mr. Sailor. I'm so sorry to trouble you, but could I perhaps ask something of you? You little third-class lady's maid? Oh. We seem to have caught this sailor on a bad day, Susato-san. I'm not Sailor. My mother gave me a name. Gave me name. I'm Senior Crewman Beef Stroganoff. Phew, the best thing is just to avoid eye contact, I think. First class cabin area. Mr. Stroganoff. About this first class cabin area. Here we are in finest part of Borya's steamship for very important persons. What sort of very important persons? Government officials, kings and queens traveling in secret. Many important persons. That is why I am always guarding. Why am I mixing French in there as well? I'm just bad at accent. Guarding this place. Gosh, that's amazing. But somehow I let stupid stowaway inside. I want to pick you up and throw you in ocean, but Stroganoff is not animal. Thank you? If I may, I was wondering, is the cabin next to Mr. Asugi's currently occupied? Ah! Was that da? I'm sorry. Susato-san, did you understand that? It sounded like da. I think it's probably Russian for yes, yes. Oh no. No, da is yes. Genius. It is not permitted to visit other cabins without invitation. Well, it sounds like there's somebody in the next door cabin at least. Yes, it's tantalizing. Passenger in the next door cabin. Could you tell us who's traveling in the cabin next to Mr. Asugi's? Probably Herlock Sholmes. His name is Mr. Grimsby Roylott. He is a very important Western gentleman. A Western gentleman? Do not think about it. He has nothing to do with murder of student boy. How can you be so sure about that? Mr. Roylott is an authentic Western gentleman. Such a man would have no interest in a lowly student from insignificant Faroese Island. Yeah. We saw a true British gentlewoman isn't capable of murder either. No. That was harsh. Could you tell us when Mr. Roylott came aboard? That is not your business. Come to think of it, even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now and I've been in Kazuma's cabin the entire time, I've never once heard anything from the next door cabin or even felt like there's anyone there. Well, presumably, since this gentleman is occupying one of the first-class cabins, he must be rather important. Is that right? This is not... Sorry. skip that. Straight. That is not your business. Are you on watch here all the time? Seaman Stroganoff? Da, all time. No criminal like you cannot come in or get out. I wonder, could you tell us anything about last night at all? It is said about Student Boy. Were you on watch last night as well? Of course. And did you notice anything at the time? Anything unusual? Yet? Susano-san? Did you understand that? It was clearly a no. I saw nothing unusual. Nothing at all. And you didn't hear any strange noises or sensed anything was wrong in some way? I said no. Sorry. I'm not so sure. I could have sworn that he wouldn't catch my eye for a moment there. So... the cabin crew is working against me. Again. This is enough. I cannot say more now. Oh. It is time for me to report to Captain. You must report to cabin. Return to cabin. Yes. Alright. Or get to second class area and staying locked at all times. You escape when lobster whistles on top of mountain, or, as English say, when the pigs fly. Yes, I understand. Good. Now we can investigate this area properly, shall we? Definitely. Okay, excellent. Anything else? Anything else? Oh, can I look at it now? That book on top of the table there is really huge. There's a pen with it too. Yeah, we had that already. Anyway, look here. Last night's log is mostly blank, presumably nothing to report. Okay, now you're still telling me there's nothing else. Sure. That's done. B. What do you think this is? It's a very pleasing shape, isn't it? That's the emergency alarm. It's probably best not to touch it. Oh, an alarm. It says press only in times of emergency. It looks as though it sets alarm bells ringing all over the ship and brings the vessel to a complete stop. Oh, this I've seen? What are you doing, Naruto-san? You mustn't touch it. But this is an emergency situation. Just look at these handcuffs. You know full well that's not what the alarm is for. If you were to bring this vessel to a standstill for no good reason, you'd be in an even worse situation. I wish everything would just stop, the ship included. If you have to do something foolish, at least make it something that doesn't affect anyone else. Yo, nice. Ah, trap for catching mice. Yes, we have plenty of those back home in Japan, although they seem to be using a lump of chalk or something as bait. Let me see. Yes, I think that's what is called cheese. It's made from the milk of cows. Cheese. I wonder what that tastes like. You can't eat it, Naruto-san. The trap will snap shut on your fingers. Really? But I suppose you're right. You weren't actually going to try it, were you? All I've had to eat for the past couple of weeks is Kazuma's leftovers. You don't know how hungry I've been in that wardrobe. If you went with little food for weeks, your stomach would actually shrink, so you do not have such a strong craving for food than you did prior to that experience. I speak from experience because I did something similar. So yeah. You may be hungry in the beginning, but since especially you, Ryonosuke, did not really move at all, you shouldn't have had the need to have a huge calorie intake, so you shouldn't be hungry. But okay. Poor you. I'll find a little snack for you later. Okay. Cabin door. First class cabin number 1. Yes, that's our cabin. Not our cabin, it's Kazuma-sama's. Sorry. Your accommodation is confined to the wardrobe inside that cabin. You know how to make a stowaway feel small down to a small wardrobe I've been calling home. These cabins are the finest on the ship. My own cabin in steerage is number 539, by the way. 500 and... How many cabins are there? Good question. Okay. Let's check out this door and then I think I'll end the stream. My voice is about to die. This is it. This is the cabin next to ours. The one the ventilator connects to. Yes. The ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging. Maybe whoever's in this cabin can help solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. No. No. No, no, no. Knock, knock. No answer. We out of luck, it seems. There's no one in there to help with our inquiries. How annoying! Ah! What was that? Came from inside the cabin. Such a high-pitched scream. It must have been a woman. Stand aside. I'm about to break the door down. Mr. Sholmes! I shan't be stopped. When the fit is on me, I revel in kicking doors off their hinges. Please, wait, Mr. Sholmes. The door doesn't appear to be bolted. It doesn't? Then how the deuce can I dispatch this muscular urge? What break can I kick? I think we should go in. There's no time to think about stress relief. It's not? I wanted to end here. Okay, okay. 9th of January, SS Burya, first class cabin number 2. Time to save. Yes. Yes. Save complete. Nice. Alright. This one. Sorry. That was an interesting episode so far. But getting accused of murder 2 times in a row, our protagonist sure is unlucky. But okay, maybe we'll find the murderer in action. and get this over with quickly, but I doubt it. We're just 2 hours in, and it took us 6 or so for the last episode. So yeah, highly unlikely. But who knows? Maybe. We'll see. We'll probably see tomorrow when I stream again. And yeah. Thanks for stopping by, joining me in this adventure. And I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.